Welcome back, our viewers. If you are really interested in diet and also working up to be in great shape and great and perfect weight, this is the great content we're going to share with you that you're going to like. With our guest this evening, Roaa Qaddoura, clinical dietitian. Roaa, good evening, and it's a pleasure to have you again with us on Hala Kuwait.
Good evening. It's always a pleasure to be here with you. It's my pleasure, of course.
Definitely. And thanks to you, you always return with great topics regarding diet and a lot of great content that we will learn from, and also our viewers this evening. And they are wondering, and we are wondering also, about the pros and cons of different types of milk specifically. Milk is used and consumed daily when it comes to breakfast and sometimes dinner and sometimes during breaks or snacks. So we're talking about different types of milk, as we mean soy and also dairy almond and oat. And also we'd like to talk about the terms of nutritional value and calorie content when it comes to the different types of milk.
Of course. So I'm sure that you have heard a lot about the types of milk that we have nowadays. We did not have to use them before. But for now, we have the soy milk, the oat milk, the almond, the dairy milk, and also the coconut milk. Let me mention some of them. Let me start with the dairy milk, the cow's milk. It has a lot of protein and it has a lot of calories. The cons about it, that it has a lot of saturated fats. I always prefer, or I always advise my patients to go for the low-fat milk. If I want to speak about the soy milk, it has the same content of protein that the dairy milk has, but the cons that it might follows around, like it is actually it has GMOs, and honestly it might affect the hormones. Like some studies show that it might affect some hormones. So I would prefer not to over consume it. If anyone would have it, it would be better to go for 1 cup or maximum 2 cups a day, as a max. Also, I want to mention regarding the almond milk. The almond milk is very low in calories, but it is very few in protein as well. So for those who work out and for who are looking for protein dense milk, it's not for them. But honestly, it is very low in calories. So for those who are trying to watch their calories, they would go for it. But it needs to be unsweetened. Also, if I want to mention regarding the coconut milk, it's also good, but it doesn't have a lot of protein as well. So yeah, different types of milk, different types of cons, and different content in protein and calories. Also, I wanted to mention the difference between the skimmed milk and the full-fat milk. The skimmed milk does not absorb the vitamin D. Anyone who has vitamin D deficiency, I wouldn't advise him to go for the skimmed milk, because the absorption in vitamin D need to have a fatty, fatty content.
Exactly.
And since skimmed milk doesn't have a lot of fat, the vitamin D absorption wouldn't be much. So I would advise him to go for either low-fat milk or full-fat milk. But if he has any dyslipidemia or high cholesterol levels or heart diseases, I always advise him to go for low-fat milk.
Low fat, it's really helpful. And let's talk about our daily companion, like when we are stressed, when we need to think more, when we need to plan something, and sometimes when we get headache, and sometimes if we want to go outside during the weekend or weekdays and sit in style in some specific place or cafes. Since I mentioned cafes, of course, you know we're going to talk about coffees. So when it comes to different type of coffee, like for example, we have black latte, cappuccino, and it's really useful for a lot of people. A lot of people enjoy it during their breaks, during their work, they're sitting at their offices, anytime, sometimes even at the weekend if they want to stay late and do a lot of activities, or even in the morning if they want to do different activities. It's really a great companion, the coffee. So how the coffee and its types, the types of it that we mentioned, different types of coffees, how can it affect the weight management?
Honestly, the content of the coffee can definitely affect the weight management. all the coffee types that has a lot of syrups, a lot of sugar, or even maybe like sugary content might affect our weight at the end of the day. So I would advise them to go for black coffee, or even maybe choose lighter milk options. It can be unsweetened almond milk, or even maybe low-fat milk. Also, I want to advise them to avoid any sugary syrups. They can go for unsweetened or sugar-free syrups, or stevia, or monk fruit in order to add sweetness or flavor to their coffee and enjoy it at the end of the day. Great. We all love coffee, and I don't want them to deprive themselves from coffee, but let's choose it wisely.
And consume it well also.
Definitely.
Not over usage of coffee, and especially some people, like they say, they drink coffee without sugar when they are at work because it's serious, but during their breaks or vacation, they add sugar to it. So it can be helpful and they can enjoy it.
Definitely, they can sweeten it in a healthy way, like I mentioned with stevia or even monk fruit, or even sometimes they can add honey to their cup of tea to add the sweetness in a healthy way without any adverse effects.
And you know, Roaa, when it comes to diet and lifestyle and exercising and going to the gym, it's an updated type of science. Like every day you find something new when it comes to sports and diet and nutrition. Every day we discover something new. We discover different types of food that will help us, different names, different definitions. And a lot of people, dietitians and also training coach, trainers, like when it comes to losing weight and exercising, they always mention sometimes, like pre-workout, some of them, you have to drink coffee. So is it true, like coffee is related, or caffeine consumption, it's related, or it can impact metabolism and weight?
Honestly, yes, it can boost our metabolism, but in a very like minimal way. Also, when our body gets used to it, it doesn't give this much effect. Honestly, it can like compress our appetite, and this can definitely make us control the portion of food that we're having at the end of the day. But we cannot rely completely on it in order to lose weight. It can boost our metabolism, especially before exercising. But if we're like not watching the quality of the food that we're having, or even we're overeating, the quantity of food that we're having is a lot, it wouldn't affect much, honestly. So yes, we cannot rely only on it in order to lose weight. It should be along with following a very well-balanced diet, also with exercising.
Yeah, and what about the people, and also some of our viewers, I'm not gonna say all of us, some of us, they like to discover new content when it comes to drinks, like different types of tea, different types of milks, and coffee. So many people now, they're drinking matcha, and you know, like when we know a new drink, we discover new drinks, some people, they like to have it and brag in front of their friends and share information regarding this new drink, and if it's useful to them, they will continue using it until they find something more useful. So how many people are or a lot of people now, let's say many of them are drinking matcha. And you know what's the meaning of matcha? We're going to share it with our viewers. So can you tell us more about matcha and its nutrition facts? It's something new we're hearing about now. Some people are hesitated to use. Some people are enjoying drinking.
Yes, matcha is a very healthy drink to start with. It is made out of green tea. It's a different, like concentrated, nutrition-rich drink that comes out of green tea. It is actually a ground green tea that has a lot of antioxidants that is very beneficial for our like body cells. It can like definitely prevent maybe inflammation. Also can prevent any cancer. It's very good for lowering blood pressure. It's very good for lowering cholesterol. With that, we can like understand that it can support heart health as well.
That's
it's also
great.
good. Yeah, it's also good for people with diabetes, because it can control their blood sugar levels as well. But we need to make sure that it doesn't have a lot of sugar. It doesn't have a lot of sweeteners. Also nowadays the products that are like that have the word matcha in the supermarket are filled with sugars and calories, so we need to make sure that the product or the item that we are actually referring to doesn't have a lot of sugars and calories. It also needs to be made with water or even maybe a plant-based milk, unsweetened plant-based milk, or even low-fat milk, and it shouldn't like have a lot of syrups, but it is actually very healthy. The amount that we need to have like on a daily basis shouldn't be more than 1 to 2 teaspoons of matcha a day maximum,
well,
but it is actually very healthy.
Definitely. It's really exciting to know more about matcha and its benefits, but first, dear viewers, let's take a break, then we'll be back with our guest this evening, so stay with us. We are back, our dear viewers, with our guest this evening, Roaa Qaddoura, a clinical dietitian. And guess what? We're still talking about matcha. So, Roaa, we're still talking about matcha and its benefits. And we usually see people, like when they go to cafe and order matcha, mostly they're wearing their tracksuits to prove that they are healthy and they're following a diet and also a healthy lifestyle. And after they finish from the matcha, they want to go to the gym. So, what are the potential benefits and drawbacks of matcha drinks for weight management?
Believe it or not, it can also boost our metabolism.
That's right.
Yes, because it has caffeine at the end of the day, and it can suppress our food like appetite and the quantity of food that we have. So as long as we're having it in moderation, we would like definitely get the benefit of those.
Exactly. And a lot of people are promoting matcha and many other products and different types of teas, as we mentioned, coffee and also milk, that it's really healthy and helps us to lose weight. And it's really helpful for us. So how do calories in different types of milk alternatives, specifically when we talk about almond milk, soy milk and oat milk, how it's compared to those in dairy milk? How we can compare it when it comes to weight loss and benefits?
Okay, so as I mentioned before, dairy products are filled with calories. It doesn't mean that they are unhealthy, but because they have a lot of saturated fats. Also, this doesn't mean that they are unhealthy because saturated fats and unsaturated fats can be still taken in moderation in a certain amount. But also they are, like as I mentioned, they are high in calories. So let me start with dairy products. Like a cup of whole fat milk or whole milk can have around 160 calories. And if I want to compare it to almond milk, 1 cup of almond milk can have around 30 to 40 calories.
That's really huge, huge difference.
Yeah, which is a lot less than that. But I don't want to forget about the protein content in whole fat milk is higher than almond milk. Also, I wanted to mention the calories in other types of milk. Let me talk about the soy milk. It has around 100 to 90 to 100 calories. Sorry. Also, the
soy milk.
The soy milk, the soy milk, as I mentioned, it has around 90 to 100 calories. So yeah, it differs in calories, of course. The lowest in calories is the almond milk, which is around 30 to 40 calories, especially if it was unsweetened, because nowadays we find a lot of sweetened milk and not unfortified milk. So I would also advise all my patients to go for the fortified milk, especially if it was plant-based, because it wouldn't have a lot of calcium, a lot of B12, a lot of iron. Those should be fortified in order to get the benefits out of those vitamins and minerals.
Well, that's great. While you're answering and telling me this information about the calories difference, about the types of milk, I was thinking about the next question I want to ask you. And when it comes to the people who visit your clinic and they want consultation from your behalf, I wonder how many of them they shared with you their love of mixing coffee and milk together and how they want to incorporate it without sabotaging their diet and weight loss. How many of them, especially if you recommended the opposite?
A lot, of course, and I I would be very, very happy seeing them doing the changes that I would advise them to do. And it would actually affect their weight, and they would really see difference with their weights, especially for those who normally go for the sugary, whole fat, like milk or in coffee. Those can definitely are adding a lot of calories to their like total caloric intake, and like those cups of coffee are taking a major amount of their total caloric intake. Like switching those types of coffee can definitely do a very big effect, especially that it would affect their metabolism, it would affect their daily caloric intake. So I would definitely, and I am actually seeing a lot of differences with my patients, especially with those like very simple swaps or maybe habits changing.
And when we mention side effects like headaches, lack of sleep, stress, overthinking, if we consumed coffee at night or afternoon, it can happen until the next day.
Definitely.
Or some people are used to it, and many people claim that when they consume coffee at night, it helps them to sleep. It's medical conditions, and we'd like to know more about it. But what we were going to ask you is about when we consume coffee. What is the difference between consuming coffee and drinking coffee morning versus afternoon versus night? So how it can affect it, and how it can affect us, and also its impact on energy levels and weight loss.
Definitely. So let me start with the best time to drink coffee. I would advise them to go for 30 to 90 minutes post their like waking up, because we don't want them to get their body used to the caffeine to wake up. Especially that there is a hormone that is called cortisol that has the responsibility for us to feel the energy in the morning, or feel the energetic in the morning. So let's start with having a well-balanced breakfast, then having this cup of coffee. I would also recommend them to stop having it before, like after 2 p.m. or like 3 p.m. maximum, because coffee has a shelf life of maybe 6 to 10 hours. It stays in our system, and this would definitely like affect the quality of the sleep of ours, and also would keep us alert. So I would definitely ask them to stop coffee by 2 to 3 p.m. That doesn't mean that they cannot enjoy coffee. They can enjoy it like from the morning until 2 or 3. It would give them the energy they need, or maybe they would enjoy the taste of it without having any adverse effects, because it can actually affect our like hunger and satiety hormones as well. So if we don't sleep well, we tend to eat more. The quality and the quantity of the food that we're having, as per the latest studies, can be like very bad. So I would advise them to enjoy it in moderation, and not to go up for 400 milligrams, which is around 2 to 3 cups of coffee, or maximum 4 a day. And at the end of the day, we don't want to have any adverse effects out of it.
Exactly. And since we're talking about nutrition and weight facts and diet facts about coffee, milk and tea, our crew this evening, and also people behind the scenes, they didn't forget about the great content we're sharing live with them this evening. So we prepared something about nutrition, and also about our viewers, specifically children and parents. They might like it also. So let's go check it, Doctor.
Sure.
So we have this report, very great report related to our subject this evening with our dear guest. So let's go and share with you our second report of the evening. It's about children and nutrition. Let's have a look at it, then we'll be right back. Stay tuned. We are back, our dear viewers, with our guest this evening, Roaa Qaddoura, clinical dietitian. So we still have many questions, and especially this next question. It's about people who are seeking to find alternatives when it comes to lower calories. Like they want to try something with lower calories when it comes to alternatives to traditional coffee drinks, let's say, for example, that still provide a caffeine, let's say caffeine boost. So is there any alternatives?
Of course, I would advise them to go for Americano or espresso, or like iced brew coffee with either almond milk, unsweetened almond milk, or even low-fat milk. Or they can go for matcha. Since we spoke about the benefits of matcha, they can go for matcha with either water or unsweetened almond milk or low-fat milk.
And some people, they underestimate the side effects or the results, and they can say, like, if we're invited somewhere, for example, and someone would like to offer us a cup of coffee, and they said, and they added randomly artificial sweeteners, and we forgot to tell them about our diet, and then the scenario, they will say, don't worry about it, it's just something liquid, and it won't affect, it's a minimum dose of artificial sweet. So when it happens, can it affect appetite and weight management in the long term?
Definitely, if it was like, if this person had this a cup of coffee, it wouldn't affect him because it has a very like minimal amount of sweeteners. We would advise them to stop it if they were a very heavy consumers of artificial sweeteners. Like they would add like 1 sachet of sweetener to each and every cup of coffee that they have a day. I would normally advise them to not go over 1 sachet of sweetener. I would advise them to go for something natural, either stevia or even monk fruit. But it needs to be taken in moderation, so 1 sachet wouldn't affect, of course. But like having it in like very large amounts can definitely increase our appetite as per the latest studies. So I wouldn't advise them to have it in very large amounts.
Exactly. What can we have or share an advice from your behalf, please, regarding the people who are worried about potential side effects of excessive caffeine consumption? Our viewers, they're really wondering about that. Like when it comes to excessive caffeine consumption, when it comes to coffee and also matcha. What can you tell them? What kind of advice, please?
I would advise them to enjoy it in moderation. Like 3 or 4 cups of coffee is actually enough a day. Also, if we want to consider matcha, like maximum 3 teaspoons are actually enough to enjoy throughout the day. Because the adverse effects are actually not very friendly. The high consumption of caffeine can affect our heart health. Like we can experience like high heart palpitations. It can actually affect our like stress level. We would be very anxious. It would actually affect our like sleep pattern, and also would affect our eating pattern at the end of the day. If we want to focus more on coffee rather than eating a very well-balanced diet, we would actually affect our iron absorption as well, especially if we were dependent on plant-based iron rich sources. So I would actually advise them to go for coffee in moderation in order to avoid any health adverse effects.
Well, that's really great, and we're really thankful to you, Ms. Roaa, for being this evening with us on Hala Kuwait and this valuable information. We're thankful to you also for sharing this valuable information with us, so we
Thank
can
you so much for
more.
having me.
It's really a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to know more about this diet plans, and especially when it comes to something people, they might not be aware a lot of it. So thanks to you, and wish you the best of luck.
You're most welcome. It's always a pleasure. Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you. The viewers, we just had with us Roaa Qaddoura, clinical dietitian. Let's go now and share with you our third report of the evening. It's about global warming. Let's have a look at it, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned.